Oh. I don't know if the camera's gonna get the scale of it, but that's a big old bird resting on the wing, looking for lunch. Well, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say? I'm having a great day. Oh, look at where I came from. And look at this bike. Ooh, I like this bike a lot. This is a well here, because I was brought up here by my new friend. How do I pronounce his name? It's Welsh. I call him the Machine. He took me on an 8-hour ride. He had one coffee, and I don't think he peed the whole time. Every time we stopped for a picture, I was sipping water and running off for a pee, but he brought me to this well. I think it might be one of the holy wells that dots Snowdonia. Craigachlin. That's his name. Craigachlin, the Machine. Rockin' Lake. So I'm changing my battery, and I'm here all by myself in this desolation, and 2 Himalayans go trucking by up that road. So now I'm curious to see what's up that road. Ooh, 2 cyclists coming up the hill too. Just demo. It's a demo. Yeah. So I just said, what's the most interesting road I know, and I brought it out here. But it's pretty awesome. Yeah. What is it? It's the new Trident 660 by Triumph. So it's mid-weight triple engine. I was kind of like, I don't know if I'll like it. It's a bit cheap in some choices of the parts, but when you're riding it, you don't care. It's what's that? It's a bit windy without the fairing. You know, it's an interesting question. I mean, I wear full face anyway, so I don't really notice the wind that much, but it's so compact. And the position is so fine that you don't notice the wind. It's kind of a roadster, so you want to feel the wind anyway. So I wouldn't tour on it on a long highway, but on a road like this, it's made for it, I think. So I'm just putting a pound coin here for scale on how big this tank is. So it does really drastically pinch back here. And that shape is less, it kind of flares out at the front there, kind of like the KTM, even some Japanese bikes. And then it really tapers down here, which is really interesting compared to the side profile, where you have this very bulbous kind of Triumph Bonneville shape there. Hopefully that's a bit of an illustration to see the kind of scale and the proportions. I also put a pound coin on the pillion seat here for scale, to show you how squat that is. This ribbon. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm being quiet. Maybe that's a good thing for most people, but I am just thoroughly enjoying this ride. It's a little bit of a gift today. I didn't expect to be doing a demo. I didn't expect to be out on these roads. Just kind of happened. I went to the shop to buy some oil for an oil change on one of the other bikes, and the demo was in the front of the shop, and no one had booked it, and no one had booked it for the rest of the day. And here I am in this special part of the world on a bike that is perfectly suited for these roads. One of the cyclists asked me what the wind was like out here on the moors without a windshield and it being so compact. And normally that's one of the considerations I think about when I'm demoing a bike. I think about, wind buffeting. I think about the wind in the chest. I think about vibrations. And, I mentioned vibrations briefly, but this bike is not vibey. This bike is pretty calm. It's pretty comfortable. I mean, the hard seat, yeah. My knee still doesn't hurt. A little cramped, but I think a taller person would be a lot more cramped on it. But for me, it fits pretty well. And the wind, it's kind of like the SV. The Suzuki SV650. And I said that there's this kind of vortex. Yeah, there is. This big clock and the squatness of this tank to handlebar length. I put my hand here, I don't feel any wind. I put my hand here, I don't know if you can hear it. You can hear the wind distortion. There's no wind, and now I'm hearing wind in my helmet. And I'm feeling it against my hand. So it's coming right off of there and going right over my full face helmet. I don't have any wind hitting me in the chest. I have nothing on my shoulders, and I think that annoyingly narrow end of the tank where I'm clamping it with my knees is having a streamlining effect as well. I'm glad that guy asked me that, because I would not have mentioned it. Because I haven't even thought of it, because I didn't think of it because it wasn't a concern. It wasn't an issue. But the lack of wind is pretty phenomenal. So I could see this being a contender. Yeah, you know what? I said Japanese bikes, and I mentioned, what did I mention? I mentioned the MT-07 and the XSR 700, and I mentioned the Honda, and I didn't even think of the Suzuki. I can't think of what the Kawasaki comparable would be. But the Suzuki SV650, this, yeah, you know what? This is the bike against that. I think this bike, in my head, I always think, oh, one day I'll own a 650. And I have the same feeling about this one. One day I'll own that bike. That's a very usable bike. That's a very capable bike. It's very fun to ride. I wonder if I could find someone with an SV650 up here in Wales to let me take it out on these roads and do a little bit of a Pepsi challenge on it. Yeah, I think this engine and gearbox are really quite, what's the word? What's the adjective? It's a bit, this reminds me of that spirited feeling I get when I ride the Phaser. You know, a snappy midweight. A snappy midweight. Farmer didn't want his dog to run across the road. Wonder what the M button does. Road, rain, road. Oh, okay. So it has a rain mode, which is actually, ooh, ABS. Don't look at your screen when you're careening towards a guardless curve. You got ABS, you got road and rain mode. Yeah, so if this is an under $7,000 bike, I don't think it is, but if this is an under $7,000 bike, then I think this is value for money. You can overlook some of the plasticky bits. Wonder if that's adjustable. Nope. I've tolerated some pretty inappropriate bikes for long highway miles, and I think if you persevere, if you're determined, you can ride any bike on the highway. But I think, you know, the bikes that are suited for the highway aren't necessarily suited for roads like this. And these are the roads that most motorcyclists dream of riding. I think if a bike can perform on a road like this, you can kind of tolerate it muscling through on a highway ride. Phone box. So I'm getting lost in this road again. When I go quiet, you know I'm having a good time. Up on the moors. I don't say it for a lot of bikes, but I could own this bike. I could own this bike, and this could be a one bike ownership. You own a bike like this, you don't imagine that you'd have to own another bike. Ooh, crosswind. I just got sent a little, there's a crosswind coming from my left across the moors here. And I just felt a nice big gust that sent me over a little bit. So now I'm experiencing the wind. It's coming from just about 11 o'clock. I mean, it's pretty strong Welsh wind. And it is picking up from the sea and across the moors. But I am now noticing the wind. This could be, I wonder, I know it's a little, you know, it's kind of counter the design philosophy, but this thing might be nice with a couple of bark busters, some heated grips. Yeah, I'm very much enjoying this bike, and I don't think there's one in the fleet that compares. I don't think there is one in the fleet. I mean, the Phaser compares, but the Phaser ain't in the UK. So I'm now 2 hours on the bike, and I've just adjusted for the first time in the seat. I've just adjusted for the first time in the seat. So 2 hours in the saddle, a little bit of a break up by the well, but 2 hours in the saddle, I'm getting a little bit fatigued in the ass, and I have now moved my feet on the foot pegs up onto my toes to bend my knees a little more. So I'm getting a little uncomfortable in the... Yeah, you can see the wind on that bag that's caught there. But now it's coming from the right. It's really weird. Here's the Sportsman's Arms. This is the highest pub in Wales. Highest pub, highest elevation. And they're soon able to open to outside, so they're building a tent for a beer garden. Looking forward to trying that out. Yep. I'm noticing the hard seat now, and my hands are a bit cold, so I'm more aware of the vibrations in the handlebars. I think it's more my fatigue than the bike's fault, but I am noticing it if it's long days you want to take on this. Road closed.
If you like that video and you want to see more like them, hit like, share, and subscribe.